Okay, we're going to look at Jonah chapter 4, verse 7. Jonah chapter 4, verse 7. Just a moment. Look what it says here. But Yahuwah prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day. Yeah. But Yahuwah prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day. Yeah, the next time daylight showed. That's all. See, for shorthand, you can say day and only refer to the evening or the morning part. But that doesn't mean that only one or the other, one is the day and the other part of it is not. No. You see what I'm saying? So there's a general definition of what day is, which is a 24-hour period. But sometimes in the Bible, when it talks about day, it's only referring to the light part, or the evening part. But that doesn't compromise any one of those things being defined as day. You see, so we're looking at Jonah chapter 4, verse 7. But Yahuwah prepared a worm in the morning, rose up the next day, and it smote the ground that it withered. Okay. Genesis chapter 1, verse 5. Now, one thing I thought was a little strange about this whole list of study. Why do you have Genesis at the end of the scripture? I didn't get that, Jay Burgeons. Why did you put the first scripture as the last scripture? And the first scripture is Genesis chapter 1, verse 5. There's only 5 scriptures within the Bible, and you put that one last. You put that one last. So, I'm sure you had your reasons, but Genesis chapter 1, verse 5. And Yahuwah called the day light, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So you believe that. So the only thing I could suspect from this scripture here is that you believe that because the day is mentioned first, daylight, and he called daylight, he called the light day. You believe that that's the evening, and the night is morning, like the world has taught us. And Yahuwah called the day the light day, and the darkness he called night. And then, the evening and the morning were the first day. Okay. So let me ask you this, because this is I've had this discussion before. Back at you. I had this discussion before with Hebrew Israelites. I had a camp that called me on a conference call, and I was kind of shocked. But it was about 6 or 7 guys on the line, and they were trying to prove to me that the Sabbath was not on the 7th day of the week. They were trying to show me this from the Bible, but the conversation quickly unraveled because I hit them with something that they never seen before. I didn't know that they never seen it before, but from their reactions and their confessions, they had never even heard this before. And these were some guys that were battle worn in the camp that they were in. So most objections they could handle coming from a Christian. And at the time that they were interviewing me, guess what? I was a Christian, pretty much. Quasi, I had a bitter taste in my mouth about Christianity. But anyway. So they were trying to prove to me, and they showed me all these texts about, they showed me all these texts. But the conversation began to unravel when I started asking them some really good questions. And I'm not talking about like people say, oh yeah, people just can't answer questions. No, these were questions these guys really couldn't answer. They were stumped. They said they never heard these questions before. So when they came to me and they were trying to show me that the Sabbath was not on the seventh day, I asked them this question. And this is what I'm asking you too, Jay Burgeon. What's the difference between evening, afternoon, and night? What is the difference between evening, afternoon, and night? Evening, afternoon, and night. When I asked these guys, it was about 7 of them on the phone. It was 7 against 1. I asked them this question. That basically ended the conversation. It ended the conversation. None of them could tell me the difference between from the Bible, between or outside the Bible. What's the difference between evening, afternoon, and night? They couldn't tell me. They were stumped. Well, I told them, well, if you can't tell me anything simple like that, there's no way you could tell me when the Sabbath is. If you don't know these designations, it means you don't even know when the Sabbath is. And they really didn't want to talk to me no more after that. They were like really stunned. And so I'm asking you the same question. What's the difference between evening, afternoon, and night according to the scriptures? Because if you know what a day is and what a night is, you should know what evening, afternoon, and night is. What's the difference between those two? All right. I guess I'm going to have another part. Well, that's pretty much all the scriptures.